Hey guys, we are here to talk about Adams' presidency, and really the main three things you have to know about Adams' presidency, is the XYZ affair, the Alien Sedition Acts, and the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions. Jay's Treaty as well, that's going to happen during Washington's presidency, but Adams is going to feel the backlash of it. So those are the main things you need to know about him and his presidency. So let's just jump right into it. Problems with France. France is not going to like us very much because during Washington's presidency, something is going to happen. Something called Jay's Treaty. Now, Jay's Treaty is going to be between Great Britain and the United States. What happened was, after the American Revolution, we were under the Articles of Confederation. Now, the Articles of Confederation did not give Congress the power to tax. So Congress could not levy taxes. And so because you can't levy taxes, you can't have a military. Very good. So with no military, basically people can do whatever they want. There's nothing there to enforce the laws that were passed. And I mean, laws weren't even passed anyway during the Articles of Confederation. If they were very, very hard to pass. So that's why we had the Shades Rebellion. It was successful. But Great Britain would not leave the forts that they had prior to us winning the American Revolution. We won the territory, we won the land, but they wouldn't leave. And basically they're just saying, we're like, all right, Great Britain, you lost, go home. And they're like, make us. And we're like, can't, because we don't have a military to make you. We have militia, but that's about it. But no state is going to want to give up their militia, because if Virginia is giving up their militia, Rhode Island needs to give up their militia. And no one was wanting to do that. They were not willing to work together. Remember that. So once we have Washington as president, we have a constitution now, we have a military, we need Great Britain out of there. And now we have a military to do it. So the Federalists are all like, yes, go, send the military on them. But Washington, we know, is a Quaker. He doesn't like military. He doesn't like that kind of stuff. And so he doesn't like fighting without like an actual cause. So Washington is going to send John Jay to make a treaty with Great Britain. Here's the thing. We pay Great Britain money from the American Revolution that we owe them for the war, and we give them control overseas, let them regulate our trade, basically us keep trading with them, and they'll leave. We're like, yes, please do. Here's your money. You can control our trade. Awesome. Please leave. So Great Britain will leave the United States, and that's it. That's done. You just need to know it's between Great Britain and the United States. Now, France is going to be very, very upset. France is going to be super upset with us because France and Great Britain absolutely hate each other. And France feels betrayed because here we are making a treaty with Great Britain when we were supposed to be allied with France. So here we are turning around, stabbing France in the back to ally with Great Britain. We basically stabbed them in the back. So France, who is at constant war with Great Britain in the ocean, starts attacking U.S. ships. So because we made a treaty with Great Britain, France gets super upset and they start attacking our ships. If you think of Great Britain, France, and the United States as middle school teenagers, like middle school girls, this is a girl fight. Susie became friends with Sarah, who was Lacey's mortal enemy. And Lacey and Susie were supposed to be best friends since elementary school. So how dare Susie do that? So France is going to start attacking U.S. ships. Not okay with us. At the time, John Adams is president. He's a Federalist. He likes big government. He likes big military. So Adams was not going to lay down and be okay with this. So Adams is going to send delegates to France to negotiate, to be like, dude, what's going on? Like, why do you keep on attacking our ships? I thought we were friends. This is not how it's supposed to be. And France is not okay. just feels so betrayed, and they're going to actually try to blackmail us. And this is going to be called the XYZ affair. The 3 French officials were named in code as XYZ in the letters to Adams, and so we just call it the XYZ affair. So Adams is going to send Adams sends delegates to France to negotiate. France refuses. They make the delegates sit in the waiting room for hours upon hours, and France says, "All right, fine. You want us to stop blowing up your ships, attacking your ships? Pay us some money." Adams was not okay with this. We were completely insulted. How dare you try to blackmail us to get what we want? Like, that's not okay. So we are totally anti-France now. We do not like France whatsoever. Anti-France. So in the domestic affairs, that's going to start biting, going to be a problem domestically. So that's his foreign issues. Now we have domestic issues. So United States and France are not okay right now. So in the domestic issues, there is hysteria from the American public against French. Somehow the public was convinced that the French are going to be loyal to their mother country and just revolt against America. And there's a lot of French people living in America at the time, a lot of French immigrants. The French Revolution was a problem. We have the Haiti Revolution and a lot of immigrants coming up from there. They're mostly in New England colonies or states I should say, because they were fur trappers. And so they really didn't have any business down south. They were typically in the north. Boston had a huge French population, and so everyone was terrified. So hysteria against the French, and everyone wants to beef up the military. So Adams is going to build up the Navy, which requires increase in taxes. He's going to put a tax on land. He's going to call another tax a stamp tax, which is going to decrease his popularity because no one likes anything being called a stamp tax. I don't know why he chose that one as a title. He could have just named it something else. But he's going to have to raise taxes against that. Remember, Americans don't like taxes. So people were scared. People weren't scared of the taxes. They were upset about the taxes. They don't like Adams being so much, taxing so much. They were scared about the French living inside the United States. And so people were going nuts. So Congress is going to pass something called we put it together, so the Alien and Sedition Acts. The alien part of it is it's harder to become a U.S. citizen. And sedition means you can't talk against the government. Well, sedition means talk bad about or go against. So if you go against the government or talk bad about the government, so the alien part of this act is it became harder to become a U.S. citizen. Sedition acts is if you talk bad about the government or go against the government, then you are committing sedition. So you're committing sedition if you go against the government and you're talking bad about them. That can't happen. So the Alien Sedition Acts, basically let me just write it again. It gave the power to the president to arrest and deport anyone who what? What do you think? You're right. They criticize the federal government. Now, this was passed by Congress. Adams signed it into law. But of course, everyone's going to blame Adams for all of this, and his biggest opponent of this is going to be Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson, once again, is his vice president. Adams is going to believe that criticism sorry, let me spell that right. He believes it's going to divide the nation when it needs to be united. If there's criticism going around, if people are talking bad about Adams, that negativity is going to spread, and it's going to cause people to not be united in the fight against France. So that's what he said, but really this Alien Sedition Act is all about weakening or even silencing the Democrat-Republicans. So it's really about weakening or silencing the Democrat-Republicans, because most immigrants were either members of the Democrat-Republican Party or they supported the Democrat-Republican Party. So if you deport all of them, the Democrat-Republicans have no power. They're just going to weaken them. So the Democrat-Republicans are going to be so against these Alien Sedition Acts. It's even going to go far as something called the Virginia Kentucky resolutions. Now, Virginia and Kentucky, these were Democrat-Republican states. And so a lot of them believed the Alien Sedition Acts violated First Amendment. And so because a law passed was unconstitutional, they can nullify it. Nullify means they can make a law void. They can ignore it. So states were nullifying the Alien Sedition Acts. They are legally voting and saying, no, that violates a constitutional right that we have, and we don't have to follow it. Nullification can be very dangerous, and we can see that. Once again, think ominous music. The blonde girl has left the group in the horror movies, because nullification, this will be a problem later. Because states are just going to start nullifying anything they don't want. So, example, let's say South Carolina doesn't like the whole no murdering law. So we all vote and we're like, yeah, we like murder. We'll just murder people. So we vote and nullify that law. And so guess what? South Carolina, we can just murder anyone we want. Is that a dangerous type of situation? Yes, absolutely. States cannot just do that. But that's going to be the norm for states if they feel like they don't like a law that's unconstitutional. States can do that. So, real quick, recap for Adams' presidency. Jay's Treaty is going to be between Great Britain and the United States. France is going to be super upset because the United States is going to make a treaty with Great Britain when we're supposed to be besties with France. So France is going to start attacking our ships. Adams is going to send delegates over to France to negotiate the whole ship attacking thing. We don't understand why. France is going to refuse and going to demand money from us. XYZ affair. We're not going to be liking France very much. We're anti-French. We're going to rename all of our French fries freedom fries. Hysteria against the French in the United States at home. So Adams is going to have to beef up the Navy to maybe, quote, hopefully fight the French because he wants to go to war with someone, and increase taxes to do that. People get very upset, but with the hysteria against the French, he's going to pass the Alien and Sedition Acts. It's going to be harder to become a U.S. citizen, and if you talk bad against the government, the power has the president to deport you, to arrest and deport you. He believes that it's going to divide the country, but really the Alien and Sedition Acts is all about weakening and silencing the Democrat-Republicans because the immigrants typically are Democrat-Republican people. The anti-Federalist / Democrat-Republicans are not going to be okay with this. They believe that the Alien and Sedition Acts violated the First Amendment rights, and so they are going to start to nullify it. They're going to pass something called the Virginia and Kentucky Resolutions, which is going to nullify the Alien and Sedition Acts.